The night did not begin suddenly. It arrived slowly, quietly, almost politely. There was no sharp line between evening and night, only a gradual softening of the world. The sky lost its brightness one shade at a time, like a page being gently turned. Sounds became fewer. Movements became slower. Even the air seemed to settle, as if it too was preparing for rest. Inside a small room, a single lamp remained on. Its light was warm and steady, not bright, not dim, just enough to soften the corners of the room. The walls held shadows that did not move. The window was slightly open, allowing the night air to drift inside without asking permission. The person in the room was awake, not because of worry, not because of fear, just awake. Sometimes sleep simply chooses not to arrive. He sat in a chair near the window, not doing anything in particular. His hands rested loosely, one over the other. His breathing was slow, unforced. He was not waiting for sleep anymore. He had reached that calm place where waiting stops and being awake feels acceptable. Outside, the street was almost empty. A distant streetlight hummed softly. Somewhere far away, a dog barked once, then stopped. The sound did not echo. It dissolved into the night, as most things did now. Time was moving, but very gently. The clock on the wall marked the minutes, but its ticking felt less like counting and more like reassurance. Each sound said the same thing. Everything is continuing. Everything is fine. He stood up slowly, careful not to disturb the quiet. The floor beneath his feet was cool. The room responded with a familiar stillness. This place had known many nights like this one, nights where nothing needed to happen, nights where thoughts could come and go without being held. He walked toward the window. The glass reflected his outline faintly, not sharply enough to demand attention. Outside, the street stretched forward, empty and patient. The road looked different at night, wider somehow, softer, as if it had no purpose other than existing. A light breeze moved the curtain. It did not rush, it did not linger, it simply passed through, the way the night did. He leaned slightly against the window frame and listened. There were no voices, no engines, no footsteps, only the low, steady sound of the world breathing in its sleep. This was the hour when most stories stopped being told, and yet this was when others quietly began. He decided to step outside, not because he needed to go anywhere, but because the night felt open, inviting, like a long hallway with no doors to choose from. The door closed behind him with a soft sound, not a click, just a gentle confirmation. The street greeted him without reaction. Streetlights stood at careful distances, each one casting a small island of light. Between them were stretches of shadow that felt deep but harmless. He walked at an unhurried pace, his steps slow enough that they barely made sound. With each step, his thoughts loosened. There was no need to think about tomorrow, no need to revisit yesterday. Those things belonged to brighter hours. Tonight was for noticing. He noticed the texture of the pavement, the way the air felt cooler near the ground, the faint scent of dust and leaves. A building passed on his left, then another. Each one held sleeping rooms, closed curtains, quiet memories. Entire lives paused until morning. He wondered briefly how many other people were awake at this exact moment. Somewhere, someone else was staring at a ceiling. Someone else was listening to the same night from a different place. The thought did not make him feel lonely. It made him feel connected. The street curved gently, leading him toward a small park. During the day, it was ordinary, a place for benches and paths and passing conversations. But now, at this hour, it felt different, larger, deeper. He entered the park slowly. The path beneath his feet was softer here. Trees stood tall and still, their leaves barely moving. The grass held the coolness of the night, untouched and calm. He chose a bench and sat down. The bench was cool, solid, reliable. Above him, the sky stretched endlessly. There were stars, though not many, just enough to remind him that the darkness was not empty. He breathed in, and then out. Nothing else was required. Minutes passed, or maybe it was longer. Time behaved differently now. Thoughts appeared, then faded. One memory drifted in, paused briefly, and moved on without explanation. Another followed, lighter, less defined. He did not chase them. He had learned that thoughts at night were like visitors passing through a quiet town. If you waved, they waved back. If you ignored them, they continued on their way. The night air rested on his skin, not cold, not warm, just present. Somewhere a leaf fell. The sound was so small it almost didn't exist, and yet it was enough to be noticed. He sat there allowing the night to continue being the night, allowing himself to simply be awake, without resistance. Eventually, he stood again, not because he was restless, but because movement felt natural. He walked deeper into the park, following the path as it curved and straightened again. The repetition was calming, predictable, safe. Each step felt lighter than the last. The world seemed to narrow down to just a few things: the path, the air, the quiet rhythm of walking. Everything else faded gently into the background. And somewhere in that quiet rhythm, his breathing slowed even more. The night did not hurry him. It never did.